Hello to everyone out there today. No bike builds today. Today I'm going to talk to you about something pretty important. I mean, I guess you could say it's important. I am talking about pods. Cheap versus more expensive ones. So what I mean by cheap and expensive are these ones, which are going to remain nameless, which is why that is on there. And the more branded, expensive ones are Canons. Now this isn't so much a Canon review, it's more like a comparison against what you pay for. Obviously, as with everything in life, what you pay is what you get. So I guess you could break it all down to three key points when looking at pods. Price, quality of build, and performance and tuning issues and rejetting issues and all sorts. All that can kind of come in one. So, actually, do you know what? No, forget it. Let's get rid of price. Let's get rid of price. Price shouldn't even come into it. It's going to be a no-brainer that the Canons are obviously going to be more expensive than your sort of unbranded cheap ones that you get off eBay for, what are these, £6-8, something like that? So I'm not going to do a complete and accurate review of materials used and everything on this stuff. I'm not the right person to do it. I can only give you my advice from experience and what I'm actually seeing at this very moment. Hold both in your hands. I mean, the build quality, this, first of all, is just actually feels a lot better than this here. Feel these fins on the side and they are rigid as anything. Feel these here and they're squishy, they go everywhere, and that's due to the materials that they use. I can't exactly tell you what materials they have in each one, but I can tell you that the materials on this, the actual filter itself, doesn't feel that good to me. I mean, the aesthetic quality of it, yeah, it looks nice, it looks good, it does the part, it looks nice. They are pods. But let's work from the back to the front. Back here on these Canons, you've got these all-in-one molded rubbers. The rubber does not stop anywhere, whereas on the end here, you've got the rubber boot. In fact, let's take that Jubilee clip off. You've got this rubber boot. First of all, that's not actually stuck to anything. There is actually a void inside. You can't actually pop these out. There's, well, there you go. All there is holding this rubber boot onto this base here is just a little lip. Now think about how your pods work. Air is going to find any way to seep in through that. You don't want it to go through that. You want the air to go from this actual filter cone here through here and nowhere else. You want it seeping anywhere. That'll cause all sorts of issues. If that sucks in dust, or if it sucks in too much air, no, it's kind of a given that that shouldn't happen. Secondly, I know that a lot of you have been having troubles jetting your carbs and everything. Luckily for me, the GS hasn't been a problem using these cheap pods, but I am upgrading them. And one thing people do have to watch out for is this little lip on the inside here. If you look closely at the lip, on some carburetors, this lip might go over vents and jets and ports and everything that you might need, so just be aware of that. On the Canons themselves, nothing. It's just a clear hole straight through, so that's not going to obstruct anything there at all. So working our way down to where the actual filter starts, the glue used on these here doesn't seem to be going all the way around. It's enough to keep these little fins attached to this, but the glue isn't dispersed evenly across everything, so there are a few little holes. On this here, this rubber is actually molded into the fin, so there's no way of any extra air going through that. So as I've mentioned before, materials used in the actual filter part of both, it's a no-brainer. The Canon filters are researched and developed to actually be the proper stuff. They advise you to oil the filters as well, and that's what you need. You do need to oil your filters, you need to maintain your filters. These are washable as well. Whereas these ones here, I don't even know where these have come from, but the material is coarse as anything. And we'll work our way all the way down to the bottom here now. So if you look inside the Canon, you've got that filter going all the way down. It's clean, that filter material, whatever it is, goes all the way down to the bottom. That is then covered in rubber and sealed. There is absolutely no air holes. Whereas if you look inside these, the glue, again, isn't spread evenly on the bottom, and the actual filter itself doesn't even reach the end. You've got a good 6mm of void at the end. If I hold it up to the light there, you can actually see the filter doesn't actually reach the glue at the bottom, and you can actually see light coming in through the bottom of it. Now that is bad. That's going to let all kinds of dust and basically unfiltered air into your engine. That's not good, guys. So in these next couple of weeks, you can actually see how different Canons are to these cheap pods. I've reached that conclusion that I am going to buy Canons for the GS. They are expensive. I think they're roughly about £40 per pod. But anyway, I'll suck up the costs and I'll see what difference it makes to my GS, and I'll then be able to talk about what I've discovered with these new pods and how easy it works. You've probably seen on my Instagram feed that I've been using Canons for both the CX500 and we've got some for the CB750 as well, so hopefully that'll make our lives a lot easier when it comes to jetting and everything, especially with them being CV carbs. I know CV carbs are a bit trickier than slide carbs, but anyway, let's see how all this goes. So it's just a short video from me. Sorry there haven't been any bike builds today, but I feel it's my duty to give you guys a public service announcement about these cheap pods, especially seeing as I'm getting quite a few questions from people through Instagram private messenger, Facebook and YouTube messages as well, all asking me why am I having trouble with my pods. And the first question I'll usually ask is, what kind of pods are you running? Cheap or expensive ones? And most of the time they're all coming back cheap. So save your money and get the proper ones for your bike, and hopefully make your life a lot easier. So this Wednesday's video, yes, Wednesday, there are 3 videos this week. This Wednesday's video, I'll be going back to the CB750, a bit more work on that, take it a little bit further. We've got the CX500 coming up next week. We've got the GS550 as well. That'll be coming up next week. So it's all full on go. If you want to stay up to date with these 3 bikes, these 3 builds, then subscribe if you haven't already. You can find me on Instagram. You can see what I do day to day on that as well. So until Wednesday, I will see you then, and stay safe and take care.